Good evening. My name is Marcus Poppenfuss. I am a volunteer at Opelika Middle School Campus Life. For those of you, if you're not familiar with Campus Life, or if that video wasn't clear enough, Campus Life is an opportunity for students to come together after school, sometimes before school, to get together, spend some time playing games, enjoying time with one another. Often we have food because that's a great way to get kids there, is to give them some food. And so we'll feed them, and then we'll also talk about God. We'll talk about Jesus, and we'll share Jesus with them. My story started 3 years ago. So I'm an associate pastor at Cornerstone Church in Auburn. 3 years ago, I was the youth pastor there. And one week, randomly, I got an email from a teacher from Opelika Middle School. And I didn't really know what to think about this. Like, you get a lot of emails coming through your inbox asking questions about things. And so I clicked it, and I opened it up. And in the email, this teacher, Mrs. Comer, had talked about how their middle school students had been working through a series where they were encouraging these kids to ask questions. They were saying, please ask questions, please, what are the questions you have about faith, about life, about God, about the world? And then at the end of this series, what they were doing was they were inviting youth pastors from around the community to come and to sit on a youth pastor panel. And in that panel, we were going to have an opportunity to speak directly to these students, to answer their questions and to talk to them about what it is that they might be questioning or challenged by. And so at first, I'll be honest, I was hesitant. There was a lot of things that are always vying for your time, and I wasn't super familiar with Youth for Christ, but there was something that in particular that caught my eye. And it was the idea that I got to go where the students were, and I got to engage with them on their turf. That's something that is less and less frequent these days in our world, is that we get to go into schools and have conversations with students where they're at. And so I was really excited and intrigued by that. And so I went to this youth pastor panel, and I showed up, and I walked in, and I immediately knew that I was supposed to be there, because right away I walked in and I looked around, and I saw this one kid, and I recognized him immediately. And it was the kid who lived 2 doors down from me and my wife in the neighborhood that we live in. And I know without a doubt that this kid came from a home that did not know Jesus, that was unchurched, and they had no business. They didn't want to be churched. And so immediately I thought to myself, okay, I'm having an opportunity not only to engage with kids and to speak with them about Jesus Christ, but I'm getting to do it with kids who don't know who He is. Kids who have no idea, who maybe have never heard the gospel, who come from homes where they're not talking about Jesus, where they don't go to church. And for me, that was a game changer. And so from that moment on, I was hooked. I knew that that was where I needed to be, and I started volunteering shortly after that with the sole purpose of having an opportunity to meet students where they're at and to spread seeds of the gospel in that fertile soil of the schools. And so it's been such an encouraging journey and story. Now, I wish I could tell you that student, that my neighbor, it would be awesome if I could say that he came to know the Lord, he was saved, but I'll be honest, I don't know what happened to him. He moved a few months later. But one thing that I'm confident in, and one thing I know for certain, is that because of Youth for Christ, because of Campus Life, that kid has heard the gospel. He has heard about who Jesus is. He has heard about what Jesus has done for him. He knows that he is loved and that he is cared for. And all of that is true because of Youth for Christ and for Campus Life at Opelika Middle School. And so I just think it's such an incredible opportunity for us as the church. I spend so much of my time in the church building each and every week. And it's such a rare and incredible opportunity that we get to go and meet kids on their own turf and to spread the good news of Jesus Christ with them. And I think we just need to take advantage of that for as long as we can. As long as we're allowed in the schools, as long as those doors are open, we need to keep meeting those kids where they're at and sharing the good news of the gospel with them. So I would encourage you, if you have more questions about Campus Life, I would love to talk to you, because it really has been just an incredible experience watching so many of these kids who are far from Jesus learn about who Jesus is. So thank you guys for having me.